Want to automate your finance workload, but don't have time to sit down and learn Python, VBA, or DAX? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use free AI tools to generate code for your finance tasks in just minutes. If you're new here, I'm Mike. I'm a senior finance leader and automation nerd, and I've been working in corporate finance for over the last decade. And over that time, I kept hearing more and more people talk about learning Python, building VBA macros, showing off their SQL skills. But as my workload just got heavier and heavier, I never had time to sit down and dedicate time to learning this. But with AI tools getting better and better, I saw an opportunity to just have the tools write the code for me and not have to learn an entirely new language. Along the way, I developed a framework that I want to share with you about how to prompt AI tools to get the best possible coding outputs. And then I want to show you several case studies to show you how to build code across different languages and different tools. Make sure to stick around to the end because the final example on Python will blow your mind. And if you're really excited about AI, make sure to click the link in the description to get an absolutely free copy of my book, The Ultimate Guide to AI Prompting for Finance. This is usually $35. I'm giving it away to you totally free because I'm so excited you're watching this video. And with that, let's get started. The great thing about using AI is you don't really need to know the individual coding languages because AI will teach you as you go. AI will write the code for you and AI will help you troubleshoot. So it's a really great way to get started with coding in all these languages, to get started with all the advanced functionalities you can get without having to sit down and learn every single piece of code. So let's talk about how we can use AI tools to build advanced automation. So before we get into that though, what is AI anyway? Well, AI today, as we talk about it for finance, is not really artificial intelligence. What we're talking about are things, the chatbots like Claude, ChatGPT. What we're talking about is generative AI, which is the chatbots like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, Llama. They're two technologies put together. It's machine learning and natural language processing. Now, what does that mean? So machine learning, think about if you go to Netflix or Spotify, and every time you watch something, then it's going to recommend something for you to watch next. And as you watch more things, the recommendations get better, almost to the point that it's actually kind of freaky. Well, what they're doing is they're looking for patterns. The machine is learning as people watch things, as people watch other things, as they like things, as they return to content. It's learning what people like, and it's learning what people who watch the things you watch like. That's machine learning, right? It's fancy from an algorithm and coding standpoint, but it's really not that complicated. Then there's natural language processing. Natural language processing is the ability to talk to computers using natural language and have them come back to you in natural language instead of writing in code. And they do this by training it on just millions and millions and millions of lines of text that's been written. So what AI tools are doing is they're putting the machine learning together with the natural language processing, and you get an AI chatbot. What this means is that they're really good at pattern recognition because everything AI is feeding you back is pattern recognition. Not new stuff, it's guessing what you want next based on just a ton of information. And then it's constantly learning and doing better as people tell it if they liked or didn't like the prompt, or as people feed more prompts, it's learning and improving over time. The most important part of success with AI tools is prompting correctly. So to prompt correctly, I've developed what I call the SPARK framework, SPARK. And this is the structure that you want to use for any prompt that you give a chatbot. So we start with S, or set the scene. This will look something like act as a skilled financial analyst, act as an expert accounting controller. Then you want to provide a task, a very specific task, tell it what you want it to do. I need your help to review a financial statement and prepare a summary that I can present to executive leadership. We're going to add the background. This is a competitor's financial statement, and I need to understand where they are stronger and where they are weaker than us and share that with my leadership. R, request an output, and you want to request a very specific output. I want back a summary paragraph, a bulleted list, and a chart of key financials. I want back a CSV file. I want back a JPEG, because you can actually have AI do pictures in a lot of cases. Tell it exactly the output you want back. And then lastly, and the most important one that I found, is K, keep the conversation going. I like to end all of my chats by saying, ask me any questions you need to provide the best possible response. The thing about AI tools, again, they're just taking that machine learning and that natural language processing. So they'll do this thing called hallucinate, where if they don't have enough information or if they're trying to patch holes in the context you've given them, they'll hallucinate and they'll guess. And a lot of times that can lead to stuff just being made up, kind of getting nonsense back. So what we're trying to do with this framework at every level, right, setting the scene, providing the task, being very specific about what we need, and then letting it ask questions, we're making sure that we're controlling the information and all the decisions. If a decision has to be made, we want to be making it. We don't want to let the AI decide because we might not like what it decides. So this framework is a structure you can use that helps you give all the information the AI needs without having those hallucinations come back, without having it make decisions. This framework is absolutely key to that. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I post brand new videos like this every single Monday, and I don't want you to miss a thing. There's 3 different ways you're going to use AI tools to help you with your automation coding. The first one is literally writing the code, helping you generate the code to put into all these systems, the M, the Python, what have you. Then there's reviewing code. If you've written code, if you've edited code, you can take that, put it into the AI tool, ask it to review it, and it will point out any syntax errors, let you know any errors you might encounter, letting you know any issues. And then there's troubleshooting. If you've put code into a system, like if you're trying to run VBA, you're getting a debug error, then you can ask the system to review the code, tell it the error you're getting, and it will actually help you step-by-step walk through and troubleshoot. It's a really cool way to use it. It's way better than anything you're going to find on kind of the generic troubleshooting advice because it's tailoring it to your specific situation. So far, I've tried 5 coding languages. These are the ones I'm going to show you. From my understanding, it can do nearly anything that you're interested in, but the ones I've worked with and the ones honestly most relevant to finance, we've got VBA. This is the automation language in Excel, Visual Basic. There's M in Power Query. This is the language that Power Query uses. DAX, or Data Analysis Expressions. This is what we saw being used in Power Pivot, Power BI. You know, the thing about M and DAX, if you're using the regular editors in these systems, it's writing the code as it goes. But if you want to do fancier things, if you want to work faster, it's great to have the code go straight in. There's SQL databases. So this is what we can use to work with like Microsoft Access, Snowflake, anything like that. And then Python. People love talking about Python in finance. It's a multi-purpose coding language. It can do all kinds of things inside and outside of finance. So something great to have in your toolbox. But that's more than enough talking. Let's look at some examples. So we're going to go back to our coffee shop data set. So if you'll recall, I've got my 2 tabs. I've got the GL data, which is my categories, amounts, and then I've got my stat data, date, type, count. Now, what I want to do to get this data to be easier to work with is I want to put these in one table. So I want to be able to use the dates, the categories, and then I want to be able to put the count in to its own column to work with it. So let's see how we can do this. We're going to go to ChatGPT. Okay, so I've got our prompt paste in. We're going to use Spark, of course, act as a financial analyst and coding expert. I need your help writing VBA code to create a macro to automate my Excel workbook. I have a table called GL data and a table called stat data. The first 2 columns in these tables match. The third and fourth in GL data and the third in stat data are values and do not match. I want to append these 2 data sets together using consistent first and second columns, and then 3 value columns for the data from both tables. Give me VBA code that can accomplish this. Ask any questions you need to give me the best possible response. We'll hit send and let it go to work. All right, so it's reiterating that it understands my task. It's asking me questions. Good questions here. It's making some assumptions. All right, and here's all the VBA code. See, this is way fancier than anything I could ever write. It's going to input it to a new worksheet. It's writing all the values. Look at this, still going. And it'll even tell us it's completed. How cool is that? Wow, so really, really cool. It asked us questions, it answered them, honestly gave the answers that I would have given, if there's blanks, if no match exists. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this. Let's go over to Excel. We'll go to our developer tab. We'll go to Visual Basic. Let's create a new module. All right, here's our new module. We'll paste in our VBA. All right, so here's all our VBA. Make sure we get from start to end. We'll close that. We'll go to macros, and we will run our merge GL and stat data macro. Okay, so for each control variable must be variant or object. I received an error that for each control variant it must be variable or object. Help me troubleshoot. Okay, so update this line to this. Dim key as string, dim key as variant. All right, so we'll come with dim key as string. We'll replace this, dim key as variant, and we'll run it again. Okay, and our macro is running. Go ahead and close that. Merge completed, output in sheet merged data. So we've got a new table here. All right, so I would want to go back and define my column names, but it did convert it. So we've got our GL values. Let's scroll down and see if all of our stat values are here. Indeed, they are. So here's all the dates, the transactions. So we've gotten this appended into one table. One thing I would change is it set this as just a range, even though it isn't a table. So I would want to just finish up the macro and say, hey, could you add this in as a table? But overall, really good job to the macro. That gets us 99% of the way there, and we can do the final tweaking ourselves. But look at that. VBA code written, did that in a couple of minutes versus what would probably take an hour or two of coding if you wanted to do it yourself. So now for our next example, we're going to work with M in Power Query. So I've got our Power BI dashboard open for the F9 Finance coffee shop. We've got some of our data pulled in, our GL data and our stat data. And now we're going to add a transformation in Power Query. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to open up Power Query. We'll go and transform our data. So what we want to do here, we have a date column, but I want to add a calculated column to give me the week and the month so that I can work with it that way. I obviously don't want to visualize all of the dates. I'd rather visualize, by a week or by a month. So we're going to have ChatGPT help us write this. Go ahead and copy this over. So using our Spark framework, act as a financial analyst and coding expert. I need your help writing M for Power Query. I have a table called GL data that has a column called date. I want to add calculated columns to show the week of the year and the month numerically. Give me the M code to accomplish this and instructions for how to input it. You don't just have to ask for the code. If you're newer to these systems, you can also ask ChatGPT just to teach you how to do it in the first place. And then ask me any questions you need to provide the best response. All right, with that in, let's go ahead and send it. All right, it's acknowledging that it understands what we've asked for. There's our code to add the week and the month. We want to go to the advanced editor, and we want to add the M code above. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll go ahead and go to the advanced editor, which is on the View tab. All right, and then we can just take our code from over here, copy that, we'll pop it in right there. All right, so we got an error, token EOF expected. We'll go back and we'll ask ChatGPT to fix it. This code gave me an error. Token EOF expected. I see the issue. So it's saying there's a syntax error. It's GL data, not GL space data. We can go back and fix that. All right, so we'll go back and let it know that code still isn't working. Here is all of the code on the page. Help me troubleshoot. All right, so we'll give it our code and see if it can help us. We have 2 let in blocks. We only have 1, so it's combining it together for us. We'll go ahead and copy that. We'll paste it back here. And we'll hit done. No syntax errors have been detected. So now we've got our week of the year, our month. Let's scroll down and see if it worked. Yep, so week 2, week 3, week 4. Should go to month 2. Yep, there it is. So with a quick copy and paste, we're able to do this. Now, what I would recommend is in the future is you can come back, you can copy what's already there, say, here's what I already have in it, but it's really good to see ChatGPT kind of work through the troubleshooting steps. So now that we have our week and our month added, we're actually going to use those for the next step. So for the next step, what you'll notice is we've got food sales in here and we've got coffee sales and we've got ingredient cost. But what we're actually missing is our cost of sales and we're missing our gross profit. So we want to add in measures that can do that. And if you're not aware, a measure in Power BI is a calculation that you add outside of the data set using the data set that updates dynamically. You can filter against it, all kinds of cool stuff like that. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to close Power Query because we're done with this. All right. So we're going to want to add our measure to GL data. We'll go ahead and select that. Now let's go to ChatGPT again and pop in the code. All right. So I have this set up. We'll finish it together. Act as a financial analyst and coding expert. I need your help writing DAX for Power BI. I have a table called GL data, which I need to add a measure to. We're going to add a couple of extra things in here. Give me the DAX code ready to copy and paste into Power BI, and ask me any questions you need to provide the best response. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to click the link down in the description to join my weekly newsletter, Finance Automation Insider. I'll send you a copy every Thursday full of hacks, automation tips, and tools to speed up your work. Okay, so what do we need to add? Well, I wanted to make sure we get the nomenclature right after doing the Power Query step. So we're going to paste in. It's always good to start with a new chat if you're completely changing what you're doing. We've got our prompt here from our Spark framework. Act as a financial analyst and coding expert. I need your help writing DAX for Power BI. I have a table called GL data, which I need to add a measure to. For this measure, I want to call it gross profit. This measure needs to sum any revenue in the actual amount column if the category is food sales or beverage sales. Then subtract out any revenue in the actual amount column if the category is ingredient cost. Give me the DAX code ready to copy and paste into Power BI. Ask me any questions you need to provide the best response. We'll hit send and see what happens. All right, it's jumping straight into the formula. So gross profit is going to use the calculate formula. We're going to sum X from table GL data. Category is either food sales or beverage sales. GL data is the actual amount, then the category ingredient cost minus GL data. So we're basically creating a variable here and then referencing the variable here to do the math. This looks good to me. We'll go ahead, create a new measure. We'll paste that in, hit save. All right, and there's our gross profit measure. Let's just make sure this worked. We're going to pull in our months across the top. That'll be our columns. Actual amount will be our values. And then let's pull in our categories and also pull in our new gross profit. So look at that. In just seconds, we were able to write this. We're able to add gross profit. So now we can pull gross profit in, and you can also do this for operating income, whatever you need to do. And it was able to write that for us in just seconds. Now, if you're experienced with Power BI, you might get a lot faster at writing this, but starting out, it's great to have this. It's also really great to have the ability to tell you how it works, how you can use it, any quick questions to double check, and just to make sure that it's all working. And if we did have any issues, you could come back and troubleshoot. So now for our next example, I've got our transaction data for the coffee shop. There's almost 150,000 rows in here, and it's sitting in a database. In this case, it's sitting in an Access database. Now, what I want to do is I don't need all of these columns. I don't need all of this data. There's a lot in here, right? So I just want to make sure that I can pull in exactly what I need to work with, and we're going to use SQL to do that. But as we will normally do, we're going to use ChatGPT to help us. Now, because I have some familiarity with SQL, I've written code, and I'm going to ask it to actually edit it. So this is an example of I'm taking code, I'm going to give it to ChatGPT and say, are there any syntax errors I need to be aware of? Act as a financial analyst and coding expert. I need your help reviewing SQL I wrote for Microsoft Access. I have a database called Transactions with coffee shop transaction data that I want to pull key columns from. Review and propose revisions for my SQL. All right, so I'm going to say select transaction date, store location, product ID, product category, month, weekday, hour. From table transactions, group by. Ask me any questions you need to provide the best response. And if you know SQL, you'll see that I've intentionally put an error in group by, and we'll see if ChatGPT catches it. All right, so it's going to say, here's what I notice. The group by clause is not complete. It caught it immediately. All right, potential use of reserved words, month, week, and hour, function names. I want to wrap them in square brackets. Good catch. All right, if you're just extracting, no need for group by. So if I want raw data, I don't need group by. And here's a formula. If I want summarized or aggregated data, here's one. So it's actually given me two different options, depending on what I want. And then it's asking me questions, saying, are these actual fields in the table, or should we extract them? So we'll say month and hour are actual fields in the table. I am looking to just extract columns. I am planning to filter for stores, products, and time ranges. Hit send and see what happens. All right, now it's going to give me a final cleaned up version. Excellent. So it's fixed all of my issues. Let's go ahead and copy there. It's added some filters that I can tweak if I want to. Go back to Access. Go to Create. So we'll go back to Access. We'll go to Create. We'll go to Query Design. Got one right here ready to paste. All right, now I just want to tweak. Just because I'm going to adjust these time periods, I will leave this one as an example. Just put that to 12/31. But I'm going to take these out just because I don't want to go looking for that. So we'll put that there. Okay, so there's our query. We'll hit run. And here is our shrunk down query. So you see here's the transaction database with everything. Here's our shrunk query. It's filtered from just January 1st. For all the data it had, it was just through the 30th. And there it is. So we took our rough SQL query. It was able to clean it up. It asked us great questions. It was able to tailor it and knows a lot more about SQL, obviously, but really clean process to edit or troubleshoot any of your work. Now we're going to do something really cool. So all the other languages we've looked at, we've got M that works with Power Query, VBA that works with Excel, DAX that works with Power BI, Power Pivot. But what we're going to look at now is Python, which is a general use coding language. That means that you can do other things with it beyond finance, beyond the software tools we use. It's very flexible. It's also a lot more complicated. I mean, if you go online, there's hours and hours and hours of thousands of courses to teach you Python. But we can use AI tools for Python. Python is really great in finance for things like forecasting, data cleaning. It's very customizable because you're actually doing a coding language. But again, it is a little bit more complicated, so we're going to use AI to generate it for us. Now, unlike the other ones that work inside of software, since Python is general use, we need to have a coding software to do it. I recommend VS Code. It is totally free, and the biggest reason I recommend it is it has Microsoft Copilot built right in because Visual Studio Code is from Microsoft. So we can use Copilot straight in it. So this is VS Code. You'll see here, this is the main editor where we can write all of our code. Over here, this is going to be the Copilot window. You'll see the little Ask Copilot down here. And down here is the terminal where we can actually run our code. Now, the great thing is if you're new to Python, if you're learning Python, Copilot will walk you through every step. So just to show you the file we're going to do, so we're going to use our favorite file, the F9 Finance coffee shop data. And what we want to do is we want to take this actual amount, which is by day right now, and we want to forecast out our revenue. This ends on 12/31, so we want to forecast out our revenue for the next month, and we're going to use Python to automatically run this forecast for us with time series analysis. So we'll go back over to VS Code. We'll go ahead and we will get our prompt, Spark framework as always. Act as a financial analyst and coding expert. I need your help writing Python. I have a table called GL data, which contains a column called date, holding dates, a column called category, and columns for forecasted and actual financials called forecasted amount and actual amount. The dates run from January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023. Using time series analysis, forecast the next 3 months by day for categories coffee sales and food sales based on the actual amount. Give me the Python code to load into VS Code and instructions for how to run this code on this workbook. Ask me any questions you need to provide the best response. We'll hit send and see what happens. All right, so you can see Copilot is working. Here's our code coming back. All right, so you see this up here, it's going to import pandas. Pandas is a data library. There's a lot of Python data libraries that are free and open source. Pandas is really good for time series statistical analysis. It's got a lot of that built in. It's really just grabbing pre-built snippets. So we don't have to code the actual time series analysis. We just have to code the details of our file and the details of the output. It's going to do all of the analysis and regression for us. All right, here it is. And then it tells you how to run the code. So you've got your Python code here all written for you. And this is a code editor. The really cool thing is once you put code in, you can actually talk to Copilot about your code. So you can talk about the code you've written, and it's going to have a conversation with you back and forth. Unlike when we're using ChatGPT, we kind of have to say, go back and read it. Here, you're going to be able to live edit pieces and snippets of your code along with Copilot. It's very cool. So to run it, we're going to save the code. We'll prepare the Excel file, install the required libraries, run the script, and view the results. And then ask some questions just to make sure it gave us what we wanted to. All right, so I've got pandas installed already. We're going to just pop this over. All right, there we go. We can save this. Series.py. All right, so we've got everything loaded in over here. Down here, we've got the terminal where we'll see it all run. We can execute here, or we can just hit the play button here to run the file, and we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so it's going to grab Python. So here's the first one. So we have coffee sales and food sales. This is the forecast for coffee sales. This is all of our actual data. And then it's running our forecast for us. You can see all the individual points down on the bottom right. All right, and then we should be getting food sales shortly. All right, the code's finished running, and here's our forecast for food sales. So we got our charts for coffee shop and food sales. Here's all of our dates. You can see them changing down in the bottom right-hand corner of our forecast. We can also get this output as a CSV file. So instead of getting it as a chart, although the chart is actually really cool that it generated all of this by itself, we can also get input out as a file that we can just pull into Excel or our financial system, what have you. So we've gone through 5 different coding languages. There's so many more out there you can use, but spend some time with this, spend some time testing and playing around with it. As you start working in the tools like Power Query, Power Pivot, Power BI, working with databases, start using this reiterative process to help develop code. Now, the goal is not that it does 100% of the work for you. This is not a one-click, set it and forget it. You need to work with the tool, reiterate, and also get better with your prompting over time to make sure you get the best outputs. At the end of the day, you're still the one coding. This is a tool to help you work faster, and it's really important for you to start understanding as you build the code, kind of how the code's working, how the different pieces come together, so that you can work together with ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, to get the product done. But I hope you've enjoyed this. This is one of my favorite topics. It's just so amazing to me after I struggled with years learning to write VBA and SQL, all those kind of things, to be able to do this in seconds and have it help correct my work, have it help generate my work. It's just so fascinating to me how far we've come. But with that, I'll catch you next time. If you've enjoyed this video, then check out my video up here. It's on Power Query, Power Pivot, and Power BI. These are free tools built right into Microsoft Excel. You can put your brand new AI coding skills to use and automate even more work. That's all for today. I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, this is Mike signing off from F9 Finance. Cheers.